Today, I enter the shed with one goal, and that is to perform the final mix down for my current song project.
Yay.
It's an understatement to say that this last step is kind of important. Because it's so important, I thought I would take a moment to share one tip with you that I think will help transform your mixes. Now you should be asking yourself a very simple question.
Who the is this guy?
Well, it should be obvious. I'm nobody. I'm recording in a shed behind my house. I don't have any serious mixing credentials. I don't have any serious credentials at all in the world of music. So what makes me a trustworthy source of advice? It's a good question with, I think, a simple answer. It's because I'm just like you. More like you than this guy, or this guy, or this guy. Those are well-known, highly respected mixing engineers. They know a lot about making a great mix, a lot more than me or you. But there's an important difference between those people and me and you, and that is that they have it all. Not just experience, but gear, like the best gear that money can buy, and prestige, the kind of prestige that allows them to make decisions with authority. I certainly don't have those things, but I still want to be able to make and release music, and that means at some point along the way, I have to try to perform a mix, and I'm trying to do a good job within a very strict budget, not just of money, but also of time and of energy. I'm making the same trade-offs as every hobbyist musician. I've never been in a position to buy thousands of dollars of outboard gear and to use them to mix, so I'm never gonna give you that kind of advice. Instead, I'm gonna turn to something simple, probably cost-effective, ideally taking advantage of things that you already have available to you. And my piece of critical and budget-friendly mixing advice is this: test your mix through multiple different sound sources. The explicit goal of every mix is to make the mix sound as good as possible. The implied goal is to make it sound as good as possible through whatever sound source is reproducing that mix at any given time. But it's impossible to know how X person is going to hear your music for the first time. So rather than optimizing a mix for a very specific sound source, i.e. the one that you use most often, you should try listening to your working mix through some other sound sources and be ready and willing to adjust things like level, panning, volume of effects, whatever, based on what you hear in those other sources. Now, some of you may be wondering, Jordan, isn't this going to get circular? Like you'll make a great mix for your studio monitors, then put on some shitty earbuds and think it sounds terrible and mix it for the earbuds and then it sounds shitty in your monitors? But in my experience, that's not really how it works. Switching from one sound source to another will rarely cripple an entire mix. It will just make a small number of things stand out. And you get to make a decision about whether to actually make a change to your mixing plan based on what you observe. For example, when I'm recording, I do rough working mixes through these studio monitors and these Sony headphones. And mixes sound very different when they're coming through each of these sources. If I'm mixing through these headphones, I have a tendency to boost the sound of bass instruments like bass guitar or like a simulated kick drum sound to a level where the bass is overpowering when I play back through other sources, including these monitors. To make that observation, all I have to do is actually switch between these two sound sources when I am doing mixes. And you can learn it even more by listening to other people's music through the sound sources you plan to use. And not only as reference mixes, but just casually to get a sense of like, how big is the bass through these speakers? As you learn the characteristics of different sound sources, you'll be able to balance those characteristics against each other. So if I listen through these headphones and think that the bass seems kind of small, I tell myself, that may be okay. Let me check it through the monitors. It's a balancing act, but it's one that helps me produce good mixes more consistently. Now, I promised that this tip would be budget friendly, and then I spent a few minutes talking about two pieces of gear that I bought specifically so that I could make music. But the basic principle here does not require you to go out and buy dedicated studio monitors or a specific set of neutral, almost painful headphones. You can do this with any sound sources so long as they are sources, as long as you have more than one. And to demonstrate, I'm going to do the initial final mix for this project using something other than these headphones and these studio monitors. I'm going to use some sound sources that are more readily available to regular people and one sound source that's kind of ridiculous. I'm going to start with a device that's familiar to me but not a dedicated recording instrument, and that is this little Bose speaker. It's a portable, rechargeable speaker. It's designed to be like waterproof so you can take it with you when you're going to the beach or to float the river or whatever people do do before they have kids. I use this to listen to music around the house, and several years ago, before I bought these studio monitors, this was the only playback source that I had that actually projected sound into the air. So let's get this thing connected to the Model 12 and do a mix.
Battery medium. Connected to Jordan's.
I'm giving you all that I have. Okay, I've finished doing a very rough working mix of levels, panning, and EQ. A few things have changed compared to the reference mix that I had going, mostly based on using the studio monitors. For example, I recorded 2 clean electric guitar parts for this song. One kind of carries the rhythm of the song, and it's over on the left side. This is my left. And the other has more like accent or sort of support parts, and it's on the far right side. When I was listening through headphones and these studio monitors, the stereo spread was pretty obvious, and so it made it sound good when I increased the volume of that accenty right channel clean guitar. But through this smaller speaker, honestly, I really could barely hear it until it was at a volume where it was just muddying up the mix. That's interesting, especially since a regular person is way more likely to hear this song through a speaker like this than through speakers like these. I turned it down by like 5 dB and basically didn't miss it. So now that I've done like a working mix using this sound source, I need to unplug it and get a new sound source, which is in my house. Hold on. All right, I'm back with the dreaded Apple Earbuds. These are the kind of headphones that I would have used to perform my earliest mixes because they are all that I had. The problem is they are well known to be hyped in certain areas and just generally like shitty for performing mixes. But they can still teach us something about the mix for my song, because good songs with good mixes will sound good through these headphones. And I hope that is the case with this one. Okay, that turned out to be super helpful. For one thing, it reinforced many of the mixing decisions I had already made because sounds sounded good, despite the differences between these and the Bose and the even more dramatic differences between these and these. It also reinforced the decisions that I had made when I did my mix with this little Bose speaker, like to reduce the volume of that second clean electric guitar, because when I listened through these, I didn't miss it. So we're doing good, we're on the right track, but just for fun, I want to test my mix through one more playback source. This is a very old amplifier. This thing's in pretty rough cosmetic condition, but it works the way that it should, and it has a feature that I need for this example in this video. Multiple channels with independent volumes so that I can plug in each side of my stereo recording and play it back through this tube amplifier. This is a million miles away from being a good playback source for mixing. But I don't really care whether it's good, I care that it plays back. And just like these rinky-dink headphones and the Bose speaker, this will tell me something about the sound of the mix that I've created. All right, I've got this plugged in, it's started to hum like all good tube amps should. Now let's start playing back some sound. I'm giving you all that I have. I'm giving you all that I have. All right, the playback through this guitar amplifier doesn't sound great, including because guitar amps are not designed to reproduce that wide range of frequencies, and guitar speakers, same goes. But it did help me confirm one thing that I wanted to confirm, and that is... Ooh, something smells. That is that the lead vocal is the front and center mids sound in this song. Why is that important? Because even for an average singer like me, the lead vocal is the most important part of a song with lead vocals. But as I write and record more parts for a song, building the arrangement, I have sort of a recency bias toward things that I've just written and recorded. And on some prior projects, that's caused me to kind of bury the vocals in the mix. And despite the unbelievable limitations of this as a playback source for a mix, it helped me observe that the vocals are the loudest of all the mid frequencies happening in this mix. Now, you obviously don't need a heavy 60, 70-year-old amplifier to do this. I chose this because it's just an amp that was sitting on my shelf.
And because it had 2 inputs of equal strength.
In that sense, it's just a thing that I owned that worked, just like these earbuds or this Bose speaker. Modern humans have a lot of different playback sources available to them at their fingertips in their daily lives, and any of those can help you learn more about the sound quality of the mix that you're creating. All right, and with that, I think I'm ready to perform my final mix. I won't bore you with the details of that, but I hope that this video has not been boring. I hope it has been helpful to you and given you a sense of why I am confident proposing this as one real tip for the average music maker to use when performing mixes. If you have other or better tips, please share them in the comments. Otherwise, I hope you're doing well. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you around. Oh, but actually, what day is it? Okay, I'm probably gonna just finish this song and append it to the end of this video. I hope you're okay with that, and I hope that you like it. It's called Prints, like fingerprints. I hope you enjoy. Thanks again.
Draped like willow branches on my neck, soft as a pillow, holding me in check. I'm not as soft as he is, I'm not as sure as he is, but I still my mess, bending the wildest branches, pointing me ahead. I'm not as soft as she is, I'm not as sure as she is, but I still trace wrinkles and scratch my calluses. I wonder what you feel when you touch them. I'm